In today's video, James Charles, Tana Mongeau, and Erika Costell apologize for partying, Larray self-quarantines, and Nikita Dragon tweets a ridiculous response to criticism. That story coming up now. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. If you're a return subscriber, I sure do appreciate your continued support. If you're new here and you enjoy these types of videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Everyone give this video a big thumbs up, click on that notification bell and select it to all. That way you'll be notified when I upload my next video. Before we get started, and as always, I do need to remind you all that I am a drama commentary channel. I have opinions and I speak them freely. Opinions are not facts, they never have been facts, and they never will be facts. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in. In my previous video, Nikita Dragon throws irresponsible party amid rising cases, I discussed Nikita Dragon throwing a Dragon-style 22nd birthday party for her best friend Larray. If you aren't familiar with what happened, I highly suggest you check it out, but I will give a brief rundown. The party Nikita Dragon threw for Larray was large, where it is believed to have had anywhere from 50 to 100 guests or more. A majority of the people that attended the party did not wear masks, nor did they practice social distancing, which is a concern considering that California now has the most cases of the virus in the country, and the city of Los Angeles is considering a second stay-at-home order. Again, all this information as well as links to news articles are in my previous video. After news of the large party broke, the influencers and TikTokers that attended the party have received a great deal of backlash for not only their attendance, but also their lack of social distancing and not wearing a mask during a pandemic where hundreds of thousands of people have died all over the world. It appears that the criticism has not gone unheard, at least for some. James Charles was the first to make an apology, and he added his apology in his latest video, A Day in the Life of James Charles. Rather than post his apology at the beginning, James Charles decided to include it towards the end of his video. It was a basic note apology that seems to have become a popular way of addressing serious matters among influencers. James Charles wrote, "Hi sisters, I decided to cut the party footage from the video. Even though I have been wearing a mask in public and have tested negative multiple times, going to a party during a pandemic was a selfish and stupid decision. People's safety and keeping the virus contained is far more important than celebrating a friend's birthday, and unsafe partying is not something I want to promote to my audience. I recognize that with my platform comes responsibility, and I encourage you guys to be smarter than I was. Wear your masks and continue to social distance. Love you." Larray, from what I can tell, hasn't issued a formal apology, but he did post on his Instagram stories that he is in self-quarantine. Fans concerned for his family's health requested specifically that his grandma get tested, and he replied that it had already been done. Tana Mongeau attended Nikita Dragon's party for Larray, and rather than issue her own apology after receiving a lot of backlash from both fans and non-supporters, she decided that it was a much better idea to attend yet another large party and then post the following with Erika Costell.
Listen, we don't care. Sorry. Listen, we don't care. Sorry.
Erika Costell, as far as I'm aware, did not attend Nikita's birthday bash, but her being at a large party herself with Tana Mongeau and then posting about it landed her in hot water as well because it made it seem like she was not taking the pandemic seriously. On July 26th, Erika posted the following apology to her Twitter account. "Hey guys, I just want to apologize for the video that was posted last night on Tana's Instagram story. The comment we made was not intended as it was perceived. Saying 'we don't care' was about our previous beef. It was in no way related to the pandemic we are in. However, I understand that this came off offensive during this time. It was insensitive, careless, and stupid for me to even be at a party during this pandemic. I am truly sorry to anyone I let down or upset in any way, and I fully take responsibility for my actions." Tana Mongeau, after being silent for days, decided to follow Erika's lead and posted the following apology to her Instagram stories. Just like the others, it was a basic note apology. She wrote, "Partying, going to any social gatherings during a global pandemic was such a careless and irresponsible action on my behalf. I fully hold myself accountable for this, plus will be staying inside. Actions like that don't deserve a platform, and I want to fully apologize and be better than this. I'm sorry. While Erika and I were referring to past drama in our video, the topic no longer matters. I need to be a better example and person." Nikita Dragon decided to go against the grain and hasn't issued her own apology. When someone criticized her, she replied with this tweet. An email with her negative test result that she got before she threw the party for Larray. Even now, Nikita continues to post on her socials showing her going out without a mask and not social distancing. But despite their best efforts to appease the critics, their basic note apologies that they posted fell flat, and a large majority found them to be insincere and only done because they had to, not because they were genuinely sorry. Marlene Estelle tweeted, "So, I gave birth in the middle of a pandemic and couldn't even have my mom there, and husband had to be fully masked up. I've stayed inside for months so some of you all can go out and party?" YouTuber Shiera Schultze tweeted, "It's really wild to me how some people, influencers especially, are out at huge parties with no masks and no regard for or even nervous about COVID. I felt nervous playing Pokemon Go with my dad, keeping 6 feet from each other while wearing masks in a not crowded area. That was my first non-essential outing and one of a few times I've gotten to see my dad since this all started, and I was feeling so nervous about all of it. I'd say I'm surprised by the balls of these people if it wasn't for the seriousness of them putting others at risk." Someone else tweeted, "Probably important to consider that you might have killed someone and not even know about it. Think about that the next time you decide you want to go party during a pandemic that is killing hundreds of thousands of people." This person tweeted, "All these fake apologies coming from influencers who already know what they're doing is bad is straight up clown crap. Oh, hey, let me go to a party I shouldn't go to, then I'll just apologize right after so I don't get called out." Finally, this person wrote, "Imagine not being able to stop the attention seeking for a few months in order to save lives, including your own. Like, I can't even imagine having this as a mistake in my life. 27 years old and can't even make the right decision to not party during a pandemic." I asked my Twitter followers how they felt about the note apologies, and here are just a few of the responses I received. "It's simple, really. They're all entitled brats that don't like being told what to do. So instead of listening to the rules and regulations, they're saying, F it, I'm doing whatever the F I want. I can't stand people like that. This. Ugh." Another person tweeted, "It's like that old saying that it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. They get to go to their parties and have fun, make a note apology, and keep it moving. Meanwhile, I'm over here in a pit of loneliness because I go to the store and work. That's it." And finally, someone else wrote, "Funny how they said they didn't care, but now they do because they are getting backlash. What is so hard about staying in that luxury apartment? I swear if I had the money, I would not go outside for any reason. So many people have died because of COVID. Stay home." But where there are critics, there are also supporters. Someone tweeted, "I hate cancel culture people. Yeah, you made a mistake, but you owned up to it and apologized. You'll still get some heat because people refuse to forgive these days, but I know that you're truly sorry." Another person tweeted, "To be honest, you shouldn't have to apologize for living your life and having a good time. As long as you weren't coughing and sneezing on everyone, I see no problem in going and living your life, but that's just me and my opinion." Whether or not they are actually sorry isn't the main issue. These influencers lack maturity, and their selfishness has now put many innocent people at risk. Elijah Daniel recently tweeted the following, but I must warn you that this is alleged. "Warning, a lot of influencers have been confirmed to me testing positive for the virus after the influencers' parties. Like, a lot. And they aren't saying anything and aren't warning people they came in contact with after. If you attended, get tested. Y'all caused an outbreak. Thanks." And now it's time for my 2 cents on this. Although I am glad that some of the influencers at least managed to attempt an apology unlike some, I don't believe that they were genuinely sorry, and honestly, they can take their pathetic note apologies and shove them where the sun don't shine. Just because someone apologizes doesn't mean we have to accept it, and I think it's high time that we don't. There comes a point where an apology just doesn't cut it anymore. As my father would often tell me growing up, no, not sorry, don't do it. And he's right. This pandemic isn't anything new. We have been dealing with this since at the very least March. Sorry does not cut it anymore, and I am sick and tired of reading these generic apologies only done because they were told they had to do them by their team. They knew damn well that the CDC recommends the use of face masks, to self-quarantine, and to social distance. They knew that gathering in large crowds is frowned upon because it makes social distancing nearly impossible, but they didn't care, and honestly, it's a slap in the face to every single healthcare worker working their butts off right now to try and help those affected. They are so self-absorbed, so immature that they can't think outside themselves. All they care about is socializing, partying, getting drunk, and high. They don't take the time to think about how they could easily be infected at every party they attend, or how easily they can spread the virus to others that they come into contact with in the outside world. As I have said, if what Elijah Daniels has said is true, then that just proves that they don't really care about anyone, even if it concerns others' health and well-being. They also don't seem to care that they, in a lot of cases, have a very large following, mostly consisting of young adults and teens. The example they are setting to their stands is that the pandemic really isn't that serious, so go ahead and party it up. Go on, don't wear a mask, you don't really need one. The young rarely have serious complications from the virus. It's irresponsible and dangerous. They are full-grown adults, but they are acting like children. It's time that people stop treating them like children, but like the adults that they are. Actions have consequences, and it's high time that they receive some. If they don't face some serious consequences for their actions, they will never change. If I were a company that was affiliated with them, I'd be thinking twice about keeping that partnership going. If they can't take their role as a public figure seriously, then maybe they shouldn't have a platform for the time being until the pandemic is over. But sadly, it seems like all these influencers have to do is put out a half-hearted apology and they are automatically forgiven by their stands, and then they are right back to doing what they were doing before. I don't see any of these influencers changing their ways after this. I really don't. What I do see is them being much smarter about not posting their selfish behavior all over their socials for the time being until this pandemic blows over. And I honestly don't see any of them taking this seriously until one of them gets it. Why should any of us believe otherwise? Actions speak louder than words, and unless they prove that they are taking this seriously, I am hesitant to believe them by their word alone. None of them had a single issue with going out unmasked, partying, and not social distancing until they were called out en masse for it. If they truly cared and were actually taking this pandemic seriously, they wouldn't have done it in the first place. If they truly cared, each and every one of them would have promised in their note apologies that they would be self-quarantining for 14 days, that they would no longer be going to parties or hanging out in large groups, and that they would wear masks every time they are out in public. Not one of them, with the exception of maybe Tana, made those promises. They aren't sorry because they've seen the error of their ways. They're only sorry that they got heat for it. And that brings me to Miss Nikita Dragon. As of right now, she still has not apologized for throwing and attending the party for Larray. On the one hand, I think it's selfish that she hasn't addressed it properly, but on the other hand, at least she didn't put out a fake apology that she didn't mean. Neither scenario is good, and I still think she's a horribly selfish, self-absorbed person, but at least she isn't pretending to care. I'm honestly torn. I guess what I'm saying is that I would like her to apologize, but only if she means it. What really irritates me about Nikita Dragon was her ridiculous response to that person who criticized her. Showing an email with a negative test result was a waste of time, and it means absolutely nothing. No one gives a crap she tested negative before the party. Whoop-de-frickin-do, so she wouldn't be the one infecting everyone at the party. Her test result is inconsequential. The fact of the matter is that someone at that party could have been positive, and everyone that person came into contact with could now be infected. I mentioned this in my previous video that I highly doubt that they vetted every single person that attended that party to make sure they all had a negative test result before being allowed to enter the Hype House. And with the numbers being so high in LA right now, it is very possible that an infected individual could have attended. The fact that Nikita thought that she did something by showing her negative test result, I'm just shaking my head right now. As for James Charles, I figured he would be the first one to apologize, but I think it was a horrible decision to put his apology in his YouTube video, and even worse was the decision to put it darn near the end. He should have posted his apology to Twitter and at the beginning of his video. The way he did it made it seem like he was being insincere. It also made it seem like he cared more about getting the revenue from the video more than he cared about people actually seeing his apology, as if he was worried people would just click off his video right after seeing the apology and he wouldn't get that watch time. It was weak, and I expected better from James. In the end, I do hope that they all honestly start taking this pandemic seriously, especially since California is a leader for the most cases in the country. Unless everyone does their part now, we are never going to be able to beat this thing anytime soon. So, what are your thoughts on this? Do you believe their apologies, or do you think it's all BS? Let me know in the comments down below. But remember to please be respectful to one another. We can each have our own opinions and be adult about it. Petty insults, vicious attacks, and name-calling will not be tolerated. Thank you. And with that, I am out of here. Thank you all so much for spending some time with me today. Remember, if you are new here and you enjoyed these types of videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Everyone give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you very shortly on the next one. Bye!